Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Real Spit. I'm your boy Spitty. Let's get right into it. Now, this episode is brought to you by Ripstick. Shout out to them boys at Ripstick. Um, this is a product that I use on a regular, especially when I started getting into my whole health is wealth journey. When I started lifting weights, I was noticing like I was having back issues, having shoulder issues. I didn't even dislocate this shoulder back in high school playing football. It's just something that, I noticed when I would lift heavy weights, I would like get a lot of aches and pains and stuff. So now I switched up to doing calisthenics. And so then I started following like a bunch of cats on the gram and on YouTube that do calisthenics, and I came across this product, which is one of the dopest products, and you gotta put in that work with this for real. Like it ain't no joke. But shout out to them boys at Ripstick, dope product, work all different parts of your arms, your back, your core, all of that. So yes, sir. Shout out to them boys. All right, y'all. So the first topic I want to get into is just go for your dreams no matter what. Like, don't stop no matter what. Now, one of the toughest things when we, had these ideas, had these dreams we trying to go for is consistency. And honestly, I feel like even, above talent, even above, like having the know-how of doing something, consistency is the key. What do they say? Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. And so that's true because, I see so many talented folks, so many people that I feel like should be in, like higher places than maybe they are, but they allowing themselves to be held back because they might start again, stop again, start again, stop again. And that's a huge issue, when it comes to trying to pursue your dreams, when it comes to trying to reach a certain goal. There's no timetable on this. You could be working on something for 1 year and it could blow up. You could be working on something for 5 years and then finally that point come. But what you don't want to do is give up on it and stop pursuing your dream because that one day that you might have stopped or that you might have slowed down could be that day that could change your life. And that's so real. I remember when starting Off the Porch, first interview I did on Off the Porch was with young Dolph. Living at this house in Decatur, Dolph asked me to interview him, so I got the camera out, interviewed him. Bankroll Fresh was the next interview. God rest their souls. But that was in 2014. That was at a house in Decatur in 2014 when we started Off the Porch and interviewed those guys. Now we fast forward and we in 2025 and Off the Porch is a household name. It's a staple in the culture. If we would have stopped pushing towards this dream that we had to build, one of the biggest media companies, we wouldn't be here today with this dope platform that we have and having the opportunity to change lives from different artists, managers, labels, things like that. I mean, we've helped to, birth the careers of a lot of artists, a lot of comedians, like I said, a lot of executives, things like that. And if we would have quit, then, none of us on our team would have been afforded, some of these great opportunities that we have, as well as, the people's whose lives we affected. So if there's anything that I can tell you is if you got an idea, you got to make it a reality. Don't quit. Don't stop. Ever. Ever. And give yourself grace if you take some time off or if you slow down a little bit. Because even with our platform, we started doing interviews and I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not gonna sell you, like a false story that we just kept going and the road just was a straight road and we just kept, filming and posting and then one day like it just happened for us. Every story, the road, like they have different turns, different winding roads, things like that. And the story of Off the Porch is the same way. We shot those first couple of interviews. We thought they was gonna blow up. We thought our platform was gonna blow up straight from that. I remember posting the videos and I'm not getting as many views as I wish they would have. And so then we basically kind of went back to the drawing board. We, started focusing on other things within the company. Then a few years later, we decided, after doing interviews, off the porch, like in our warehouse space or in studios, things like that, we decided that branding the hell out of the porch was going to be what was going to, help us to win, and just knowing that the consistency was going to be something that would, take us to that promised land of where we were trying to get to. So anybody out there with a dream, with an idea, with a vision, follow that vision and don't let anybody steer you the wrong way. Push you in the opposite direction where you're trying to get to, because all it takes is that one day that goes well for you that could change the rest of your lives. If there's any piece of advice that I could give you, is don't stop dreaming. Don't stop pushing, ever. And that's real spit from your boy Spit. Yes, sir.